All right, guys. Sorry about that. Super truckers, can you hear me on the YouTube side? Test one, two. All right, let me see here. All right, can you hear me? Anybody on the YouTube side? I know I had some technical difficulties with the mic. Is there any sound coming through? Okay. All right, there we go. I don't know what happened, guys. Sorry about that. Give it a minute to try to get those people to channel over. See, this is what I get, man. I'm trying to slow down the caffeine and drink some water, and I didn't get my coffee in. So do apologize for the inconvenience, but we'll get started shortly. Okay. So again, guys, this is going to be for the CDL holders, especially. That's what we definitely care about here, and this is about putting that good information to all the good people. Remember, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and put this information in front of your fellow trucker so that they can be successful just like you. All right. This does also affect examiners and motor carriers, actually medical examiners and so forth, and the motor carriers themselves on how they operate with compliance. We'll kind of go through that as well. And at the end, I will share what states are not compliant with NR2 as of this moment and how that affects you. So we'll save that for the end and keep on trucking. All right, guys. So give it just a little bit more, and we'll get this party started. All right. Hey, good morning, Diva. As always, how are you? Mohammed, where you from, man? Okay, so here we go. Pakistan. Here we go. All right, guys. It's Wednesday midweek. Make sure you guys are out there hustling, getting that grind on. Today's a good day to tell how much actually your week is going to look before it ends. So if there's ever a time to make an adjustment while you're out there, the time is now. Make sure you're getting with your dispatcher and asking him about those adjustments to make sure you're making your financial goals and getting that money necessary on your truck. All right, so that's just a sidebar. Okay, so today's topic is the NR2, and for those who don't know, that is actually the National Registry #2 final rule. And we're going to be breaking that down exactly what you need to know. In case you don't know, that did go into effect on June 23rd. However, is it the purpose of the video is to show you guys exactly where you stand and how this affects you, and is it really working in your favor? All right, so what is the NR2 and why does this matter? So basically, it stands for National Registry #2, and it's the FMCSA new rule that finally integrates the DOT medical exam into a digital system. So no more relying on paper med cards, and no more wondering if your physical got lost in the system, right? So the goal is to make it faster, safer, and more accurate for all commercial drivers. So basically, how are they going to do this? I guess this is also about compliance for them. They're probably looking to to tighten up the circle as to how they get the information, probably minimize fraud. I don't necessarily think this is not so much about safety. I think this is more about efficiency and streamlining a process. However, it's the government, Uncle Sam. So sometimes streamlining these type of things could get complicated, and the problem is that the consequences are yours. And we'll dive into that, and you'll see exactly what I mean and why you should be protecting your business. All right, so let's talk about the biggest change that you're going to notice. All right, so medical examiners now have to upload their physical the results, including qualified, unqualified, voided exams, everything by midnight uh, after your exam. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get away from you self-certifying. So what happens there is you're going to find yourself in probably like two scenarios. Either A, you got sent to get a medical card, and if the company paid for it, typically they're going to get a copy of that medical card, and it would get self-certified through them, obviously with your consent. And or if you're paying for it, you're going to see that you're actually handed your medical card, and it is your job to make sure that it gets self-certified. Now, every state is a little bit different. So we're talking Florida here, right? Florida has a website, it's nice and free. You upload there, and you can actually self-certify it into the system as well. It's not even that difficult. You just got to make sure you have a nice, clear, legible JPEG file, and you're going to be good to go. And you can even check in to make sure it got done. So you have that opportunity, or you can walk into DMV and also accomplish that task. Check with your state, guys. Everybody operates in a different state. They have different processes. So you want to you want to know your process so you can better better tackle this problem here. All right. Now that's going to ensure that it goes straight to FMCSA's national registry. Then they send that to the DMV. So now the chain of command is that. So it's actually to ensure that the medical examiner is talking to DOT, and DOT is talking to the to DMV, right? So they actually don't want you having anything to do with it to make your life easier. But if that falls apart, the one that's on the side of the road is you. And that is going to be a major problem, because if their systems failed and now you can't prove you have a medical card, you're going to actually be placed out of service, and the punishment, that's the punishment, right? The process is actually the punishment for you. So you want to make sure that you protect yourself. All right. So most importantly, guys, in the states that they implement this, you no longer get or need the paper med card. Now, this is huge, because you don't want to just trust them, my people. You want to be able to ask for it. You have a right to ask for your medical card. You want to get a copy. I know that the system's intended for you not to need it, but when it's going to hit the fan and you're on a level 3 inspection somewhere, and they're asking, they didn't update the system, and now they're asking for your medical card, and you don't even have a copy, and your hands are in your pocket, you're going to have a major problem. And nobody in that officer, that DOT officer, the trooper, whoever it may be, is probably not going to have any sympathy, and is probably not going to want to accept all the excuses that come along with that. So my people, protect yourself. Okay. So what this actually means for the driver, which is, that's what we're doing here, putting the information in front of you so you can be protected. You no longer have to submit that med card to the state. And once the state switches to NR2. So there are a few states that haven't even done this, guys. So remember, this rolled out live in June, and you still got about 7 states who aren't even compliant just yet, which complicates the issue, which is why they actually extended the due date, and they pushed it out to like October. But what's happening is the confusion between all of this. Some states do, some states don't. You have to be careful and protect your business. It doesn't really matter what states are compliant and are not compliant. I think that you should be always asking for your medical card, number one, and then taking additional steps to ensure that it got completed. So that way you're never put out of service for something that's been out of your control. All right. So you still can request that paper copy, which is huge. Make sure you do so, but it's no longer considered official proof. All right, so that's a little twisted, but at the end of the day, something is going to be better than nothing. So at least that's going to be proof that you did it. What they're really looking for, which has been in play for a long time. I'm sure a lot of guys on here have been stopped on inspections and probably didn't even have to flash the medical card. So for those who don't know, a lot of you guys are what they're doing is everyone actually on your medical motor vehicle record. Sorry, it's going to state your medical card. It's going to state all the information that's on there: issue date, expiration date, national registry number. It's going to also state the chiropractor, doctor, whoever did it. It's all on your MVR. So it's not that the cop just knows about it. He forgot to ask you. It's actually on your MVR. So that's what they're going to be relying on. They know, they no longer need you to have the paper. However, it's in the process and in that transition that things can get lost and fall apart for you. All right. So Biker Bro, he states he's planning on getting a CDL. Hopefully this won't affect him. It should not, man. It's just a matter of knowing the details so that you could protect your business. That's all it comes down to. It's going to affect different people in different ways. Some guys are going to have to deal with this a few more times than others, simply because medical cards come in all shapes and sizes. I've seen 6 months, I've seen yearlies, and I've obviously the 2 years. So what's going to happen there is somebody who got that 6 month, he's going through something like this, obviously every 6 months. Somebody who got that 1 year every year, somebody with a 2 year is going to get that 2 year. All right. Um, in addition to all of that, all right, guys, what it means to the motor carrier. So this is for my people who are running safety and in that compliance. Okay. So you no longer need to collect and verify the paper med card. That's a little scary. I don't know if I know I'm not doing that. I would just do it because it's not going to hurt anything to have that there, because even if things fell apart, so think about it for a second, right? So let's say for whatever odd reason somebody's stuck out there and actually maybe forgot the medical card, runs into some kind of issue. I can at least email that bad boy to the driver and now he has it. I know it's not the ideal situation, but it's better than nothing. And at the end of the day, um, you know any kind of violations out there that hit you guys obviously is going to hit the people that you're running for. So if you're leased under someone and you run under their DOT, they're subject to those to the points as well. So on a topic like this, we're in it together. So actually, you want the involvement of individuals like myself, safety compliance, that are asking for copies so that we can have it to support you later on, as opposed to this medical card. The new rule here that nobody wants to give you a copy because they're telling you they got it. So here we go, guys. We want to make sure that we're paying attention here. All right. So instead, you'll be required to pull the CDLIS MVR and verify the driver's med car status electronically. So like I said, that's already being done. That MVR becomes your official DQ file. So that's what should be going in that DQ file. All right. And so for the medical examiners, they now have that harder deadline by midnight the next calendar day to submit your results. You won't need to issue a med card anymore in the NR2 enabled states. But if you do, know that it's only for the driver record, not for state proof. Okay. So the problem with this is the following, my people. We have fallen into something similar a couple years back. This is a people business. And what's going to happen is when you're getting that med card, who is the person faxing it over? What is the process? Let's just say it's somebody that works in an office of a chiropractor. Does that person even understand your line of business, right? Does that person understand the ramifications of what will happen next if she or he fails to send that document over to DOT? The likelihood is not. And what happens is if you trust that process, you're gonna find yourself in a world of hurt, because if you are on the side of the road only to find out the hard way, The only way to attain that copy would be for you calling that office and having them fax you or email you that process, the medical card. My people, I have been in that situation, all right, to get that done, and it's not always fast. I have had to press like 6, 7, 8 phone calls, depending on where you call. There are a million and one places that you can get a medical card. It doesn't mean they're all built the same. It just means that they're all different. Hey, good morning, David. It means that they're all different. It means some are more efficient than others, and so now you're going to be in a world of hurt. So you have to plan accordingly. What I suggest you do, my opinion, what I'm going to be telling all of our guys, and anybody who asks me, if you get your medical card, if you get it updated, you need to ask for a copy. So remember, we talked about not all states are NR2 compliant right now, right? So let's check this out. Um, what if you are actually a Georgia resident, right? And then you get, for whatever reason, it's just ideal for you to get your medical card done in Florida, just because of the way you operate and so forth. It was just efficient and not lose time. So you're saving money and all that good stuff, right? But what happens is Florida right now, I'll let the cat out of the bag. They are not in compliance just yet. So what's going to happen is they don't have that obligation, or they're not sending it to any motor vehicle. So now Georgia is. So now you got it in Florida, but they're not doing their due diligence to send it. So now Georgia is not getting it. So guys, like, this is what I'm talking about. You have to ask for your copy, then you have to go to Georgia and get it updated, so that you are in compliance. So there are a million and one scenarios that can happen just like that, but that simple clerical issue right there translates to you getting put out of service on the side of the road. It's going to affect your PSP directly, and it's going to affect the CSA of the carrier. Or if you're running your own authority, you're getting hit on that, on both. There you go. Congratulations. So again, this information is for you to avoid issues. That's what this is about. I'm not even saying I agree with these rules. I'm not saying I'm against these rules. I don't even care about that. Really is, you got to understand the rules in order to win the game. There's no other way to play the game unless we truly understand what the rules are, so that you can win. All right, so here we go. So not all states are ready, and then that's kind of where I see the major problem. I mean, DOT FMCSA gave everybody that hard deadline, right, on June 23rd, and now you got about 7 states that are not there just yet. So I happen to have a list of all those 7 of those states, and so if you live in one of them, you got to pay special attention. All right, so we got Alaska, California, Florida, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Oklahoma, Vermont, and Wyoming. Here's the problem. Like I said before, if you happen to get your medical card out of state and it happens to be in one of these bad boys, they're not necessarily going to update your information, and actually they won't update your information. How about that? They're not going to update your information. You're going to go trust it as if they did, and then the price to pay is yours, because even if you call them back, no one's going to pay you for lost wages, for any of that. There's nobody to sue. So here we go, guys. You got to pay attention. I've got a comment here. I have another question for you. Do I have to get a DOT physical medical card first before I pass the CLP test, or after I pass the CLT at the DMV? Can I take a general knowledge first? I believe you have to have that CDL already to go for that med card. So I could check up on that, biker bro, but you got to have that first. I do believe, pretty sure. But I'll get back to you, brother, man. I want to make sure you get proper information. And then David asks, the issue is how I got screwed by one of my owner operators. Oh, this issue is how I got screwed by one of my owner operators. So here we go. He got pulled over, and because of this med card issue, his license was suspended. And here we go. This is what I'm trying to avoid for a lot of people, because remember the due diligence. I actually think, like, here's the crazy part, right? So they're rolling this out to make your life easier so that you don't have to worry about the back office paperwork. This becomes more of a streamlined process, and now you should be worry free, banging out the loads and making some money, and it's one less thing for a trucker to worry about, and he can focus on safety. But I think right now, because the way it's getting rolled out, it's actually the opposite. I think, like, you actually don't know. You're in the unknown. So I'm sure, David, I know you got screwed. I know the pain that comes from that directly. I've been there, but I don't even know if the dude did it intentionally. Right? Maybe this cat thought that everything was up to par, and then it's not. So here's a little thing that you can do, guys. Especially, I don't know, David, if that guy that got hit, that hit you, was from, if he's from Florida. Like I said, on the website we have a self certification. So if you actually go in there and just use that as a resource to your advantage, what you do is you log in as if he's certifying, and it's going to tell you the last known medical card that's on there. So if it's still the previous, obviously it didn't get done. That's number one. Number two, it actually might be pending. But what I would do is print that bad boy. So do a screenshot, get that printed, put that in that guy's pocket, and make sure it's there. Because ultimately, you can also check the driver license status. So if anybody else finds themselves in that situation, that's just a little bit trick of the trade. Work with the driver to get that done, just so that you both are sure that it's getting compliant. So again, knowing when your guys' medical card exam, when they expire, not only getting the updated one, but once they have the update, you got to be able to go and have your own checks and balances, because this program, I wouldn't trust it. So I wouldn't trust this 100% just yet. I guess in theory, in the intent is good, but it's just not there yet. And the problem is that you guys are the ones that are going to be getting the pain, or we lose, right? Like, their mistakes, but we pay the price. So I don't want to see anybody getting in that situation. All right. So again, think about it, guys. Man, this thing actually rolled out back in June 23rd, and we still got all these states that are not compliant. So it says a lot about that, right? And I wonder why they're actually fighting it back, man. Put something in the comments. Do you think some of these states just don't want to play ball? Is there a bigger reason, or what it might be? Is it financial, perhaps? Who knows? But put your thoughts in the comments, guys. Remember, this kind of information is for truckers and those interested in getting into the game. So you're learning as you go and preparing yourself before you enter the market. And also, please like, share, subscribe, pass this information along to another driver so they have it and they are in the know. All right, so the temporary waiver is going to be until October 12th, allowing paper med cards to continue during this transition. So that at least is the good part. But remember, when you're in the trenches, not everybody will be on the same page. So what I'm saying is, once you're getting your medical card, you don't know if the person that's handling that transaction for you knows about that. So if they don't know about that, they may very well be advising you that, oh, you don't need a copy. And they just don't want to print paper and not give it to you, right? And because in their minds, it's still valid. You don't need it. It's worthless. It's not proof of anything out on the road. So you want to make sure you say, hey, listen, can I please have a copy? Make sure you're persistent on that. I don't think they'll fight you on that, but you want to make sure that you're asking for your copy, because that's where trucking's made, guys. It's in the details. Putting in policies, procedures, regulations. Yeah. All that is great. However, if you're not pushing the policies, and it's in the people that are in the trenches on a daily basis that are managing these policies and procedures, that's where you have to solve problems. Right? I could sit here all day and tell you whether I like this rule or not. What value would that be to you, my friend? Like, it doesn't even matter. But what is value is how to navigate in this, so that, we see David got hit by one of his owner operators. Unfortunately, two people are losing right there. Let's take that and let's all learn from that situation. So we don't need another person being affected negatively. We just can take this right here. better prepare ourselves so that we're not in any situation that we have now, more liability than we should have. All right. So, the reasoning behind doing this, they're saying it's going to improve safety, eliminate fake or expired med cards. Okay. Um, but I don't know. I already think we're reinventing the wheel because, like, expired med cards, man, like, if you're running under a carrier, like, I don't know. We should be checking. Like, you have to have checks and balances and know when medical cards are expiring on all your guys, right? So if it expires in 2 days, why are you giving him? Why is he out on the road? Why is he in Wyoming? And if he lives in Florida, like, he should have got that on his last 34, even though it was a little bit ahead of time. But now you're not in that position that the guy is in panic mode, trying to find a place to do his medical card in between two stops, and now his heart's racing, and now he has a 1 year rather than a 2 year, and or now he has to go for a CPAT, and now what? Good luck getting that done. And that's actually happened to us. So all the stories that we share, we've lived through. So, like, I don't even know if you could sit here and just make it up. So here we go. Prevent uncertified examiners from issuing cards. Okay, so it sounds like they had some problems in the back office. Because what our due diligence is to make sure that they're certified by just going to their website and putting in their registry number, and as long as they populate, we're good to go. But I guess they must have had some bigger problems on the back end. Give law enforcement real time electronic proof of medical status. Here is the problem, right? So that is the intent, but are we actually there? So I don't know. See, because this is what I'm saying. Like, in order to get there, you need to have systems and processes in place and everybody on the same page. However, we're not there just yet, but we're rolling out, and we are rolling out the punishment as if we are in place. That's the problem, because it is your responsibility to make sure that your driver's license is valid, right? So people, even if, like, let's say, as an example, little sidebar, somebody's getting a pending suspension for child support, right? It's your job to handle that. It's your job to understand that. It's your job to possibly not take those loads, and so forth. It's your CDL. You are directly responsible for that. So again, when it comes to these rules, they're trying to get you out of that tight circle, but hold you to it. So you got to be able to force your way back in and be ready and stay ready so you don't get put out of service. And streamline compliance for everyone involved. Obviously, we discussed that. In theory, sounds perfect. But hope that we get there. All right. I hope they can make that medical card longer than 1 year and 2 years, at least 4 years, probably issue with the shortage of CDL. I don't think they're going. I don't think they're going to. Medical cards are 2 years, I think, is the max. I don't think they go 4 years, my friend. Final takeaways. All right, so here we go, guys. Know your states. Let me go over that one more time. The states that they are not complying with NR2 and have not implemented NR2: Alaska, California, Florida, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Oklahoma, Vermont, and Wyoming. So if you live in any of these states, what you should be doing is getting in contact with the DMV, or I don't know, tax collector, they call it down here in Florida. Make sure you're contacting them to get the updates directly, and or rely on your safety team to tell you the updated information, because remember, they have vested interest in it as well. So we just went through that. We walked our guy through that. Miguel's in good standing, but again, we want to be paying attention to that. So that's where you want to pay special attention. And again, if you get your medical card in a different state other than your domicile state, you do not want to get caught up. You want to make sure you have a copy of it so that you have something to fight. Because what it appears is, if there's going to be if it doesn't show up on your abstract, on your motor vehicle record, you then have to call in, and now you're the one that's going to be mitigating all of that. You are the one that is going to be trying to connect the pieces. Like now the state and the state and DOT aren't talking, so now you want them to talk. And so remember, you want to have a little bit more you want more facts in your hand so that you can fight that fight. All right. So make sure you're getting the copy. I can't stress that enough, guys. Regardless of what the person behind the counter is saying, ask for it. Use your personal skills and all that, and make sure you get your copy, even if they try to, not give you a copy. All right. All right. So we have to start pulling MVRs for med statuses. I did share a couple ways that you can do it, that you can self-check. So even if you're doing a 10 somewhere and you just recently did this, and this is an aha moment, you're kind of like concerned a little bit, and it's in the back of the brain. So what you want to do is, especially from Florida, go on there to the self-certification system and double check it. So what I don't know is if anybody out there does know, please share. If they pushed out the deadline to October, I wonder if Florida is going to do away with the self-certification system online. So if anybody out there knows that, put that in the comments, share that information with us so that we can get it out to the trucking community and everybody is in the know. I think that'll be a valuable information, because if they did, then we have to realign ourselves, and our approach to defend ourselves will be a little bit different. All right. Get examiners, get trained, and start reporting quickly. Man, that's the one that's scary, man, because we don't have any measuring system on these guys. Like, we have no idea how they're training them, because it's not like, let's say somebody gets their medical card at a chiropractor, right? So if it's not that specialized, just DOT and that alone, they're doing other shit, man. That's not their primary. Like, to them, it's just another function. Faxing it tomorrow or today, from what I have seen, has no sense of urgency. I can't tell you how many times that I've had guys come in front of me and state that the people at the clinic sent it, and long and behold, it was never sent. It was sent incorrectly. It was this. It was that. So this is the scary part. I'm telling you. So I don't know what their training looks like. I wish we could have some access to that. So if anybody here has a little bit more knowledge on that, maybe they know someone in that business and you got privy to how they're trained, please let me know. Because even drug testing, let me tell you, it's a complete sidebar, but pretty good information to just share. I'm running into this more and more and more. So let's say I send a guy in a pre-employment drug screen, right? Boom, I go on my MRO database, find a location, in network, bada bing, the guy goes. What I didn't know is that person is like, it's not a clinic. It's, let's say, like a self-employed type place where that's all he or she does, but they only go there for that appointment. And so they kind of go there to open the door, give the guy the drug test, and then they leave. So the problem with not being there on a daily basis, they don't have a daily pickup. So usually clinics have 2 pickups, right? If they're busy, you're going to get one in the morning, and then you're going to get one in the afternoon. So I'm going to share some secrets right here, right? So let's say you're extremely diligent, right? And you're squeezing in the guy to take in a drug test like at 5 o'clock. But if that location only has a pickup at 3 o'clock, that's it. You missed the boat. That thing that you're rushing to do is not going to get picked up till the next day at 3 o'clock. So the results are going to be a little bit delayed. You're good on the compliance where he took it at said time, but depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So like if you're trying to get a guy into orientation as quick as possible, that wasn't picked up till 3 p.m. the next day. So that's not going to make the lab till, the 3rd day. So just food for thought for those guys who are out there and doing all that good stuff. But going back to my topic, what happens is, so are these people just going in there for that and then they leave? So what happened to me was the lady did the drug test and she left, but there was no tracking number issued. And now I know that that specimen sat in her trunk for a couple of days before she went to drop it off, because she was probably waiting to accumulate for a couple of drug screens. and then go to the Polo FedEx and send it. So now I wonder if these guys are also doing medical cards, and if they are meeting you at the clinic, like you rent some space at a place, it's legit. They're trained for it. That's not the problem. Again, that's not the problem. I'm not against that hybrid or anything like that. But will they be due diligent and make sure they send that, or will it go to their front seat, sit on a pile, and then they forget, and then you don't have a copy, you can't prove it, and you're hit. So you want to avoid those situations, guys. Okay. Um, so pay attention. And now we got so again, the new due date is going to be October, guys. So pay attention, stay diligent, especially if your medical cards are expiring. For those who still are good on that, then you don't have anything to worry about. Hopefully you got 2 years on the way, and you're good to go. So again, this information is for my people that are out there and their medical cards are expiring. Let's say anytime between October, while this process is not streamlined, you're going to have a little bit more homework. It's not as worry free as they made it sound. I do think it is a good thing. It's nothing bad, but I mean, I don't think this is like really moves the needle any which way. Like it's more convenient. Like, okay, but I just don't think that this is a lot of movement for very minimal progress. I believe, because I find my guys, like all the owner operators, we're still in the same boat. Like nothing's really changed. It's just probably people less willing to work with us than anything else. So remember, pay attention to all that good stuff. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think. Any other topics that we should be covering? Anything that you're willing to share as far as your stories, your experiences? I know David dropped the bomb on us that he got burned by one of his guys. Please put that all in the comments. And we also have a couple more topics from well, not so much topics, but comments from other viewers and so forth that we are collecting as we're moving along and addressing them as we go. So maybe this is actually for like biker bro here who's thinking of getting started. One of the questions out there was, how much harder is it to be an owner operator versus a company driver? It is very different. I do find that in this business, man, like a lot of times people, let's put it this way: buying the truck is the easy part. All right. That's when everything starts. One of the hardest things to do is the mindset change, especially if you were a company driver for a very, very long time. And so, for example, I have a call the other day. The guy's been a company driver for like 8 years, right? So he's diligent, he's safe, he's a driver. No one's doubting that. So, but he has to have that entrepreneurial spirit to know that he has to attack business differently as an owner operator, because even though the reward is higher, so is the effort putting into being successful. So I think it's that much harder, but it is that much more rewarding. It's more exciting, it's more rewarding. I do believe, me personally, if you just play it safe, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's my spot, man. I don't know if I like that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I get it. That's for some people, but I wanna risk the biscuit, man. I want to be able to take that opportunity to say, man, at least I tried, or like, let me do this. So it is very different. I would say being an owner operator is a lot more complicated. I don't want to necessarily say harder. I just want to say that there's different responsibilities. And so with that, that person has to be aware of that. And those different responsibilities are going to ask a lot more of you and the way that you think. That is the biggest thing, because if you don't change that mindset into a business owner, you're definitely going to run into some challenges. All right. So please pay attention to that. All right. What kind of discipline do you need to run your own truck? Business owner discipline. That's what you need. So, for example, a lot of people view this as freedom, but at the end of the day, you do have freedom to a degree, but there's a business to run. And any type of business you run, whether it's a restaurant, barbershop, laundromat, anything, everybody's fighting to stay open. Everybody's fighting to remain the doors open because that, my people, creates cash flow. And I know I talk about this all the time, but any business with cash flow is going to have a chance and an opportunity to survive, obviously good times, and to get and weather through those rougher times. But again, it's that discipline that keeps people open. There are plenty of owner operators who are hitting the road week after week after week, and they're diligent. And the reality is, what do you think? They like it? No, but they just have discipline. That discipline is what's going to get you a lot further than anything else. And lack of discipline, you start to now, I find in the past, people start to look for money where it doesn't exist. Then it's like, man, but if the rates did this, or if that, this company, this guy would be a direct shipper, if this, if that. So if all these people change their way of doing business, then I would be better off, then my business would be thriving. But you can't sit there and wait for everything around you to change, for your situation to change. So my people, get that discipline. Just like my dude biker right here, biker bro. He's got a plan. Go stick with it, my man. Like, you got work to do, right? So grind it out. Let's not just talk about stuff. Let's start knocking things down. Let's start accomplishing things, and I'm sure you're gonna get it done. Educating yourself on channels just like this, you're that much ahead of it, instead of going blind, being wishful, and stepping into the unknown without any type of idea what might happen, right? So here we go on that. Uh, how do owner operators handle stress? Well, I mean, that's everybody's gonna handle it a little bit different, right? And depends what causes stress. I mean, I think one of the biggest things that you have to focus on is going to be, especially your first year out, you got to really condition yourself to focus on what you can control. I see an abundance of people always focusing on what they cannot control. And the problem with that is that you're not going to get any resolution. You're just going to, the mental theater is going to get more and more and more. And now you're going to end up in the woods, and no longer effective, inspired, disciplined. All of that is going to go to shit. And then you're going to have a problem. So guys, what are things that you cannot control? Rates, right? No one controls rates. It doesn't matter how many doors you knock on. Who's controlling rates? Absolutely no. It is market driven. It is a volatile business. No one controls rates. No one controls the weather. Obviously, you can do things to adjust and be safe, but these aren't factors that you should be focusing on, right? Because you cannot control them. What you can control is showing up, how you show up, and what you're willing to do once you show up. That is the biggest key to your success. So, and then now your stress is less, right? Because now you know that trucking is, you accept what is, you're at peace with that. It's a tough sport, but here we go. But so, because you don't control that, and the factors and the unloading and detentions, and that broker slided you and didn't pay you that detention and this and that. So you're not hyper focusing on all the wrongs that can happen, but rather focus on the opportunities that you can massage, change, adapt, and makes you better for it. All right. Um, one of the biggest things is there are a lot of guys out there that do a very nice job of balancing driving and running their business. They do very, very nice job of that. And there is a lot of other guys that need some help with that. So that does come in all shapes and sizes. But nevertheless, that's why our program is built to fit all. So, one, we're going to be here supporting those guys who need a little bit more assistance on certain aspects of the business. And then we're also going to have other individuals that require less, but we're still here. The process is the same. He's getting the same attention. He's getting all that good stuff. Whether he's using some of the resources that he needs, that's up to him. But nevertheless, we're built to support owner operators. Please give us a call at 863-342-5171 to learn more, talk directly with the recruiter, and or give me a call after this. We jump off at 10. I'll be available till 11 o'clock. And I will speak with you directly, tell you all about our programs and how we can help you out. and improve your business, so forth. All right. All right. So right now we got a comment. All right, Roberto asks, "What is the procedure to renewing your medical certificate?" The procedure. All right. So what I would do if I were you, once again, you're gonna go to the to go get your medical card, right? So boom, you pass. Then you're going to ask them, "Hey, can I please have a copy of my medical card?" They're gonna probably tell you, depending on Robert, what state are you in? Kind of waiting for him to answer, but let's say you're in one of these 7 states, right? You want to make sure that you get it to motor vehicles. But so here we go. Like, so you're gonna get the medical card. Now that you have it, you're gonna go to motor vehicles and get it updated and give your carrier a copy. That way, just keep it old school. Even if the girl does her job and they did it, even if you showed up at motor vehicles to update it and they told you, "I'm sorry, Robert, this was already done," that's still of a hell of a lot better place to be than to find out that it wasn't. So he's in Texas. So in Texas, they are already in compliance. So here's what they're going to do. Once you get your medical card, they're going to be actually sending it in themselves. But again, ask for a copy. They're probably going to tell you you don't need it, and you just say, I'm a paper hoarder. Don't worry about it. Give me my copy. Get your copy, put it in your pocket, and now you have it and then I would your day right there you can go to motor vehicles and get it updated. By any chance, is that an online feature to self-certify in Texas? Does anybody else know that or not? I'm not sure about Texas, but that's what I would be. That's what I would do, Robert. I would make sure that you get your copy, go to motor vehicles directly, and get it updated yourself. And they may tell you it got done already. Good, but I need at least now you have assurance that you will not have an issue. You don't want to be under the impression it got done, and that's like just haunting you the entire time you're out on the road, only to get a level 3 and get hit. So that's what I would do if I were you, my friend. Um, uh, how do you keep from burning out? Man, trucking is a tough business, man. These things are always changing, moving pieces, moving targets, everything. It could be a difficult sport, but I think goals, man. I think the process is the actual objective. Like everything else that comes along with that is kind of a byproduct. So if you're really good at running your business and you enjoy improving your business and that's your focal point, I think the money comes. You'll start to see slowly accomplishments, right? Financial freedom is always the best place to be, right? You're never really free, but being in a place where you know if you're getting paid for this load next week, it's not the end of the world. You operate differently, you move different. So I think those wins are the ones that keep you from burning out, right? It's not necessarily just wanting like this one major objective or like, hey, man, that square footage or that Hellcat in the driveway and like I don't think that's that. I think if you focus on your process, if you enjoy the path, if you enjoy the journey, everything else is going to start falling into place, and you're never going to really burn out because the small wins come on a daily basis. Um, where you start to enjoy it, you start to operate from a place of abundance. You are just this, you view problems differently. So now, are they even really problems? Chances are they're not, and solutions to these problems have always been there. You were just in a different mind frame that never saw the solution. So being able to be in that position and recognize that, I think that is the major thing from not burning out for a lot of people. Will it affect my CDL if it's a late renewal? Yeah. It definitely you definitely want to pay attention to that. Yeah, you will get suspended. So remember, like if you're they give you 15 days after the expiration date for it to be in the system to update. And if it is not updated, yes, you will be suspended. And no one's gonna call you, my friend. Um, that you have to be diligent about that. So I would be proactive at this point. By the way, Robert, did you already get your do you have your new medical card, or you're barely going to go grab it? That's the question I have for you. So we'll wait on his answer there. All right. One of the questions here is, do you recommend running solo or teaming up? Ooh, all right. I'm gonna hurt some people here. I believe solo. And let me tell you why. I think teaming is like for training and on all that kind of stuff. In my career, I have seen really good friends no longer become friends. So here's what happens. I think that everybody thinks that running teams is times two. Uh, all right, before I jump into that, so need a new one. So all right, so Robert, I would say before your medical card expires, you want to do this at least a week in advance. Go down, get your new medical card, right? Texas should be sending it up to DOT and then DOT sending it to Texas. That should be happening. But just in case that's not happening, the copy that they give you, you can go down to your local DMV and update it in person. The worst they can tell you is that it's already been done. Or if it hasn't, now you've ruffled some feathers and you're forcing people to update it so that you're not in any kind of problems. You may have to make a couple phone calls if it's not done, but at least you're resolving the problem same day. So that is my advice. That's what I would do, and you should be all right. All right. So running teams or solos. Jumping right back to that. Again, I think it's all about. I think it's about solo. I've seen a lot of guys run teams and they think it's times two. But what happens is, let's say usually the hardest runner is the owner of the truck, and then he brings his cousin or somebody in, and now that guy's going to run teams with him. But what happens when that other guy doesn't hit the same amount of miles, right? So imagine you were taking 4,000 take. Let's just do a round number. Like you're taking 4,000 take home after expenses, all that good stuff, running solo, not a problem. Now you run teams. Now as teams, you're taking 7,000 home after expenses. Cool. But now you just took a pay cut because now you're not making as much and your truck is getting more wear and tear, right? That's provided you're splitting that bad boy down the middle. So now you're taking home less, about $500 less. You're responsible for tires, you're responsible for the wear and tear, the maintenance on that truck, fuel, and now it's only a matter of time before you start to realize this isn't really going to work out. And now it's a tough decision because you know this guy, you know this person for some time. You thought it was a good idea, but how do you go back on that, right? Easy said. Like a lot of people are gonna be like, "Yeah, that's not a problem." Easier said than done until you have to have that conversation. Look, terminating someone is never easy. I don't think anybody's used to that. It's not a nice kind of conversation. It is a necessary evil, I guess. You know that's for sure if you want to put it that way. But I have seen things dragged out where it goes on for way longer than it should because nobody, people couldn't have that hard conversation. So when it comes to running solo or teams, there is something that exists I call super solo. It's not exactly miles like a team. It is miles like you know, maybe 900 miles a day or something like that. Usually husband and wife, and I think the reason that works is because the money is going to the same household, so it all makes sense. Uh, uh, I saw LRM joined on our TikTok. Yo, my man, I did. Somebody was asking about you. I referred them to you, so hopefully you got them. They're actually team drivers talking about that, and hopefully that worked out. Please hit me up after this, after the podcast, and let's touch bases and let me know any type of information that you need to help those boys out. All right. Um, so again, put in the comments, guys. How do you run? Have you done teams before? How'd you feel about it? Would you do it again? Let us know what your thoughts are. And that is our show for today. So I'm glad we were able to help Robert out. Please, Robert, share, like, subscribe, send truckers to our Super Trucker podcast so they can get information just like this. Helping my man alone, just one person today made all this worth it. So we're here to help out, and it's all about growth. It's all about using strategy to your benefit. So please, I'm open for any kind of questions before we move on. And don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe. It keeps the videos coming and give us ideas for great content and things that you want to hear, which will make this that much more successful. All right, so we'll give it a few minutes before I head on out. All right. I know it's crazy, right? Like how sometimes things in theory sound so easy and well, and then it doesn't work out, and now we have to create a policy to a policy because that first policy can't be followed, and so now we're in this vicious circle, and actually nothing gets done. Okay. All right, my people. It seems like that's it for today. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for participating. We will do this again mañana. So I will see you same time, same channel. And please be safe out there and keep earning. All right, my people. I understand that it's working where you can view the discounts, but I need to go in there and put the card. You know, I was talking to you about the card, and you need to be able to unlock the card and go back and drive. So I have to add that, or I have to turn your card off because we're having so much fraud, and these places are giving us such a pain in the ass to return the money. And so I have to put the card off on there. So that's why I need to get into your account so I can have the card off. No, I just, hold on, it took me out of it. I have to go back in. I know, but that's why I'm trying to go in here and fix this. Because I have to, they're not gonna care about the card box. They're not the one losing thousands of dollars. We are. You know? Hold on, I have to read it. You're gonna get a new code.